All right, so here's the new video for the dual lever sketch. So first step we're going to do is open up our OnShape document, make sure we go to our workspace units and change, it should be on, default was probably inches. We're going to change that over to millimeters. And then I'm going to start a sketch on the front plane. I'll click the letter N to get normal. And then I started this off in the very center. To me, it made the most sense to start with the center, this diameter 45. Right, remember that is diameter symbol, R is radius symbol. So we will go with our circle, and I'm going to start on the center, and I would go with the diameter of 45. Right, and then from there, I decided to choose to make these two lines. Right, and so those are construction lines. One is 200 long, one is 125 long with an angle. So I'm going to go to line, and if I remember right now, I can hit construction. So I'm going to click on the center, just go over by 200, then hit escape. Let's do it again, line, construction, start at the center, kind of come down at an angle of 125. And this guy's still blue. The reason it's still blue is I do not have the angle between them, right? There's this angle of 120 degrees between them. We haven't really done much of that, but to get an angle, we go to dimension, and we just click on both of our two lines, the first line, and then I click on the second line, and now it changes it to an angle in dimension. So that was 120 degrees. So now this is fully defined. From here, I'm going to add in the two circles, right? Diameter 15, diameter 15. So make sure you're clicking exactly on that endpoint. If you're not clicking on that endpoint, it won't turn black. Or if you clicked a little off of it, make sure it's right on that endpoint. Diameter 15. So from here, now it gets a little bit trickier because these kind of pieces here, they're connecting to this bigger circle. But this isn't quite a circle, it's an arc. But I'm going to start this off as a circle, right? It looks like it's a circle, and then we can always trim out these insides later. So it has a radius of 50, but if I'm starting it as a circle, I want to start on the same endpoint. If I start it as a circle, the diameter would be 100, right? Because we're going with diameters for circles. So radius of 50 would be a diameter of 100. So there's that bigger circle. Then I'm going to just go ahead and make the lines. So I'm going to start with this bottom one. I'm just going to click somewhere on the circle. Just going to make a line coming down here. It doesn't really matter where I make it. Just make a line. Then I'll do another one. I'm going to make another line just kind of down wherever. And so then when I look at what constraints these have, if I look, I see that these are parallel, right? These lines are parallel. I also see tangent because they're tangent to this arc. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to start off with parallel. I'm going to make this line parallel to the kind of center line there. And then that construction center line parallel to this guy. Okay, then I'm going to make an arc tool. I just chose the 3-point arc. You could have done tangent arc as well, but I chose 3-point arc. So I'm going to click on this guy, click on that guy, and just make an arc wherever. It doesn't really matter how you make it. Because once I make it, then I'm going to add in my tangent. Right now, if we see it's not quite smooth, so I'm going to tangent the arc to that line, and it kind of smooths it out. Now this one, again, isn't smooth. It's kind of disjointed there. I'm going to click on the arc, click on the line, it smooths it out. Now I see this little center mark, right? That's the center for my arc, and it's not concentric with the circle. Well, when I look over here, I notice that I don't see that other center, and I see this little circle. That's a concentric mark. Concentric means that the two circles have the same center. So I'm going to click on the center of the circle, click on the center of the arc, and now it's centered those together. It's still not defined, and that's just because I don't have that dimension of 35. So I'm just going to add in that final dimension. So I'm going to click on dimension, click this guy, over to this guy, and that was 35. Now it's going to turn black. It's fully defined. Now I'll do the same process up here for this guy. So I'm going to start off with our line, just anywhere up here, just across. Now this one we're not going to have to do parallel as long as we make these horizontal. So if you make them horizontal, then you don't have to worry about the parallel, right? And notice, see how I see that little horizontal bar, right? It's not there. When I get here, it's saying, hey, we're automatically adding the horizontal for you. And then I'm going to go up to my arc, click on the point, click on the point. Again, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing for right now. Just however I make it is fine. Because I'm going to add in tangent to this guy and tangent to this guy. And it kind of messes it up a little bit, but now it's fixed. And then I want the circles to be having the same center, so I'm going to choose concentric. Click the arc, click the circle. Now they have the same center. And finally, we will add in that dimension of 35. So most of what we did here was just with the geometry, the geometric constraints, these guys. We only really added one dimension. So this looks almost perfect. The only difference is I have these kind of insides here, whereas over here, those were cut out. So we're going to use the trim tool, the scissors. I'm just going to trim out those insides. And now this looks exactly how our other one does. The only difference, the only slight difference we have is we have this 100 instead of, they had a radius of 50. It's not a big deal. Diameter of 100 is the same as radius of 50. But if you want to make it the same, now that I cut those out, this is no longer going to be considered a circle. It's going to be an arc. So I could always delete it. It's going to turn blue. And then add the dimension back, and it'll show up as a radius of 50. So if you really, really wanted it to be a radius of 50, you can do that. Okay, so go ahead and take a screenshot of this for me, and you will turn this into the Google Classroom.